Today we will be seeing about Chomsky normal form, which is shortly referred as CNF. So what is Chomsky normal form, which is shortly referred as CNF? It is nothing but the restriction on the length of the right hand side of the production. So if you have any production, the right hand side has some restriction. What is the restriction? It can have either two non-terminal symbols or a single terminal symbol. When you see the production rule, A implies A or A implies BC. Here capital A, capital B and capital C are terminals and small a is a terminal symbol. So all the production rule must be in the form of these two forms of the production rule. Then we called our grammar is a Chomsky normal form. Let us see how to convert a context-free grammar into a Chomsky normal form. So I have 5 steps listed over here. That's the procedure. The first step is, if your start symbol is repeated on the right side of the production for the same production itself, then we will create a new start symbol and add the production S dash tends to S. So in this way we will remove the recursion. Second rule is you have to remove the null production. So we have seen how to remove a null production from the grammar. The third one is you have to remove the unit production from the grammar. And fourth rule is, if you have a production such that A implies B1, B2, B3, B4 up to Bn, then it must be replaced with A implies C B1, where C implies B2, B3, B4 up to Bn. So you have to repeat all this, this process for all the productions, such that all the productions right hand side has only two non-terminal symbols. If you have the last step in the conversion is, if you have a production that A tends to small a capital B, here small a is a terminal symbol, capital A and capital B are non-terminal symbols. If you have any production of this form, it must be replaced as A implies XB and X implies small a. So you have to repeat this step for all the productions, such that if you have it in the form of A implies small a B. So we will follow this 5 steps and we will try to convert the context-free grammar into a Chomsky normal form. So let us see an example. So now we are going to see how a context-free grammar is converted into CNF, Chomsky normal form. So you should remember what are the steps to be done. So what is the first step? If a start symbol is on the right hand side, if it is repeated on the right hand side, then it should be replaced with a new start symbol. Then you have to remove null production, unit production. Then you have to remove the fourth step, which are in the form of series. And fifth one, you have to remove the non-terminal and terminal symbols, because Chomsky normal form can have only one terminal symbol on its right hand side, or it can have two non-terminals on the right hand side. So we have to remove all the productions that are in the form. So you can see here, this is not in Chomsky normal form, this is not in Chomsky normal form, and here A tends to B and A tends to S, no issues, but B tends to epsilon is an null production. So you have to remove this. So let us start with the first step. So you can see the start symbol is on the right hand side of the production. It is on the right hand side of the production. Okay. So what you will do is you will remove this. So you will take S tends to, so you will create a new production S dash and we will include this. So your production rule will be changed as S tends to S dash and S tends to ASA or AB and A tends to BS and then finally B tends to B epsilon. The next step is to remove the null production. So you can see in this production grammar, so this is the grammar we are going to see, you should not see that. So in this grammar you can see there is a null production which B tends to epsilon. There is a hidden production is there, we will see. So when you have a B production, so wherever B is there, you have to substitute epsilon and find out what are the other possibilities of combination we can have. So let us assume the production rule. So production rule, the first rule is S dash tends to S, there is nothing here. But you have S tends to ASA, so there is no B in this, but you have AB. So this B can be replaced with epsilon. So if you replace it, you will get A alone. Similarly, when A tends to B, okay, or S, so you can see B can be replaced with epsilon, so you will have epsilon over here. Then finally B epsilon is removed. Now you can see still there is an epsilon here, because when I substitute instead of B, when I substitute epsilon, A is also creating a null production indirectly. That is, A implies B, B implies epsilon, then A implies epsilon. So now I have a null production, A implies epsilon. So when you substitute epsilon wherever A is there, you will get different production rule. So let me write the production rule. S dash tends to S, and S tends to, we will write the productions again same way, A, B, then A. Now instead of A, when I substitute epsilon, I can get AS and I can get SA, or I can even get S. So this will be the replacement you will get. Then finally, instead of I can remove that A epsilon, so you will have B or S, then finally B will be of epsilon B. So this is your the final production rule after removal of the null production. So next we will be removing the unit productions. So what are the unit productions we have? We can see the first one is having a unit production. Then S tends to, you can see all others are having combinations of non-terminal and terminals, but the last one is with a single terminal. Similarly, A is with B and B is with S. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 unit productions are there. So we'll start removing one by one. So instead of, so we have already seen how unit productions will be done. So instead of S, we will replace all the productions of the right hand side of S with S dash. So we'll see the production rule. So S dash implies ASA or AB or A or AS or SA, okay, or S. Okay, not S, you will, that S is only removed, so you will remove that. So similarly, S can be replaced with the same thing. So S will be having ASA or AB or A or AS or SA. Now A can be replaced with B or SA. So what happens is, first I will replace with B. So what is B is, B can be a terminal symbol. So B, or what is S is, what is the term we have for S that will come along with A. So ASA or AB or A or AS or SA. So this is the production rule after removal of the unit production. Now the fourth step of conversion is, so you have to remove all the non-productions that are having more than two symbols, two non-terminal symbols in the right hand side. So as you can see, S dash tends to ASA, which has more than two non-terminals. Similarly, S as ASA, as well as B, A is also having, A tends to ASA. So what you are going to do here is, you can see the same string is repeated in S dash, S and A. So B does not have anything. So what you will do is, we will try to form a new rule, that is, I will take SA as a substring. Okay, so what I will do is, so if S dash tends to ASA, that can be converted into S dash tends to AX. So what will be X is, X will be SA. So you know SA can be derived from X. So we can change S dash ASA as S tends to AX. Similarly, we can do for A also. So A tends to ASA can be converted into A tends to AX. So now we will change the production rule. So we will find the production rule, we will write it in a new page. So P is equal to, okay, or P, okay, P is will be, So S dash tends to, as I said, A as A is being replaced as AX. Okay, so ASA is going to be replaced with AX. So in every term, ASA will be replaced with AX. So we'll replace it. So what you will have is, you will have, it is going to be AX. Okay, then you will have the rest of the team AB, A, AS and SA. Similarly, S also will have AX, AB, A, AS or SA. Then finally A will be having B or AX or AB or A or AS or SA. Then we know that B tends to B and X tends to SA. So this is the final production rule after removing the productions that are having more than 3 non-terminal symbols. So before going this, still it is in non, you can see all the non-terminals are having only 2 non-terminals. Still you can see there is few forms are not there in Chomsky normal form. For example, AB. So AB is not in the Chomsky normal form. So the fifth step, now we have to change S dash tends to AB into a form. Okay, so how do we change it? The rule says that if S dash tends to AB, okay, this can be converted into S tends to, sorry, S dash tends to YB and Y tends to A. Okay, so is there any other combination in such a format? You can see only I have AB combinations. There is no other combination you can have. Other than that, it will be a 2 non-terminals and others will be of single terminal symbol. So what you will do is, wherever you see the terminal symbol A, you will replace it with Y. So you can see it is going to be of the form. So your production rule will be changed as S dash tends to AX, YB, A, AS or SA, and S also will be same AX, YB, A or AS or SA. Then finally A will be B, AX, YB, A, AS and SA. So finally you have B tends to B, X tends to SA and Y tends to A. So the last production rule, it is in the form of, so it is in form of CNF for the given grammar. So this is how you have to convert a CFG into CNF. So let us have another example. This is the grammar. So let me write the grammar over here. So grammar is going to be S tends to 1A, 0B, and A tends to 1AA and 0S and 0, and B tends to 0BB, 1S and 1. So you can see there is, so we'll check with the rules. So you can see we will apply the rule one by one. So first rule, we have to check whether the stack symbol is repeated on the right hand side. It is not there. We don't have any null protection. There is no epsilon is given. There is no unit protection. You can see either it is with either with a terminal single or it is repeated twice. So the fourth one is no protection is having more than 2 non-terminals. There is no protection is having more than 2 non-terminals on the right hand side. So first 4 rules are not applicable. So we'll see the fifth rule. That means we should not check like this, because after doing it you may get a unit protection or null protection. So we'll check first. So we know that there are few forms are there, like it is, you can see S implies 1A, 1 is a terminal symbol, so that should be removed. So let us assume if it is S tends to 1A, okay, so now we can change this into S implies XA, okay, so where X is tends to 1. So similarly, you have a 0 combination also. So S tends to 0B. So this can be converted into S tends to YB and Y tends to 0. Now we know that 1 and 0 are going to be replaced. So we can have other combinations also can be converted. So for example, if it is A1AA, that will be replaced into A implies XAA. Similarly, A tends to 0S, which is of not form. So that will be converted into A implies YS. Okay, so 0 tends to Y. Okay, so Y tends to 0, so you will replace 0 with Y over here. Similarly, when you take B, B is of 0BB form, so you can replace B implies YBB. So now we will change our production rule. So my production rule will change. S tends to XA or YB. Then A tends to XAA or YB or 0, and B tends to YBB or XS or 1. Now, after removing that production, you can see there are certain productions that have more than two non-terminal symbols on the right hand side. For example, this one and this one is having more than two non-terminal symbols on the right hand side. So you have to remove this. So we will repeat the step 4 again to remove this. So you can see these are the two productions that are having more than two non-terminals. So we will replace this. So how I am going to replace it? I am going to replace it as, that is, XA can be replaced, that is, I will take the last rightmost productions. So I will replace A and BB as some other term. So how I am removing, you can see A tends to XU and U tends to AA. Similarly, YBB also, so YB tends to, we will take another variable. What is the variable I can take? I can take Z. So Z tends to BB. So now we will see what is our production rule is the final production rule. So the production rule will be S tends to XA or YB and A tends to XU or YB or 0 and B tends to YZ or XS or 1 and finally U tends to AA and Z tends to BB. Now you can see all the right hand side is having only two non-terminal symbols or a single terminal symbol. So it is of Chomsky normal form. So this is the final answer for the given CFG grammar. So let us say in another example, we have only one rule as a production rule for my CFG grammar. You can see S tends to A or B or C, SS. Here terminal symbols are A, B, C and non-terminal is only S. So I can see my start symbol is repeated. So we will include a new terminal symbol. So my production P will be replaced as S dash tends to S and S tends to A or B or C, S, S. So that you will not have any repetitions. Okay, recursions will not happen. Right. So you can see there is no null production and you don't have unit production also. So there is no unit production also. So there will be no change in our grammar up to third step. And you can also see there is no production with more than two non-terminal symbols. So we will try to remove the terminal and terminal combination. So the only thing is we have to change C, yes, where because C is a terminal symbol. So how do we remove it? So this will be implied as C tends to, we'll take X, S, S and X tends to C. So the final production rule will be S dash tends to S and S tends to A or B or X, S, S. So now you can see it is having more than two non-terminal symbols on the right hand side, so you have to remove that. So it is having the more than two non-terminals, so I will repeat that. Step 4 should be repeated: more than two non-terminals on the right hand side. So that the production is S tends to XSS. So now this SS can be replaced with Y. So this will be implied as S tends to XY and Y tends to SS. So now your final production rule will be S dash tends to S and S tends to A or B or XY and X tends to C, and you will have Y tends to SS. So here in the production rule I left X tends to C, so you will have X tends to C also over here. So now it is very clear that all the production rules are in the form of Chomsky normal form. It is in Chomsky normal form. So let us see another example. So you can see there is no null production in your grammar. There is no unit production also in your grammar. And you can see the start symbol is not repeated on the right hand side. So only thing you have is it is not in the form of Chomsky normal form. So we have to change the formula. So let me change that. Okay, so we'll be changing S tends to A D. So you can see a terminal and non-terminal combination is not allowed in Chomsky normal form. So you will replace this S tends to, we'll take a new term because we have multiple terms to be changed, or we can take okay, we'll take W. Okay, so we'll have WAD. Similarly, W will tends to small a. So the second production which are of form is going to be A tends to AB. So this can be converted into A tends to WB. Why? Because A can be derived from W. So you will have W implies A. And similarly, A tends to BAB. So this I can see B has to be derived. So you can write A tends to, we'll use a new term W. Instead of W we'll take okay, you will take X, so XAB, and X tends to B, right? So what happens now, we'll replace our production rule. So your production rule will change as S tends to WAD and A tends to WB or XAB. Then B tends to B and D tends to D. Then you have W tends to A, and finally you will have Y tends to, not Y, okay, it is X, X tends to B. Now you can see in your production rule, it is still not in the Chomsky normal form. Why? The right hand side of the productions are having more than two non-terminal symbols. So you have to replace it. So we will replace this term. So S tends to WAD, which can be converted into, so instead of AD, I will give some other term. So let me give S tends to WY and Y tends to AD. So I have removed, now you can see only two non-terminals are there. Similarly, the second production which is violating is X tends to XAB. Okay, so instead of AB, I will use another term. So S tends to XZ, and you can have Z tends to AB. So your final production rule P will be of form S tends to WY and A tends to WB, or okay, sorry, here I wrote it as S, it is going to be A, or XZ and B tends to B, D tends to D, W tends to A and X tends to B, Y will be tending to A and D. Okay, so these W's are capital W only, so wherever I wrote, okay, it will be the same thing. So W tends to, sorry, Z tends to AB. So make sure I wrote capital W, so don't confuse with that term. So it is a capital non-terminal term only. Okay, so you will have W, capital W's only here. So now you can see it is of form Chomsky normal form. So this is how it has been removed. So keep that in mind, that step 4 and step 5 can be repeated multiple times to make the given grammar into a Chomsky normal form. Okay. Now we will see a different type of grammar. You can see what are the terminal symbols we have. So let me write it that my variable is going to be only S. Okay, my terminal symbols are going to be what? So it is going to be this wave symbol, then you have a square bracket, closing square bracket, you have a union symbol, and you have P and you have Q. So you know S is the start symbol, so S will be your start symbol. So in your grammar, this is what happens. Now you have to remove the rule. So here we know that there is no start symbol on the right hand side, no unit or null production, and no right hand side is having more than two non-terminals. So what is to be removed? So the what will be removed over here is, you can see S tends to a terminal symbol and a non-terminal symbol. Similarly, you have to remove this. So let me remove this first. So S tends to, instead of this, I can give some other term. So let me give X, S, and X tends to the symbol, terminal symbol. Now what is the second rule we have over here is, so this is replaced. The second rule is S tends to square bracket S union S square bracket. Now this should be removed. So let me remove one by one. So S tends to, you can take it as what you will take. We'll take it as X or W, or we'll take Y, Z, something like that. So let me take it as A, B, C, D. So that will be easier for us to understand. So I will take A, S union S square bracket, where A tends to opening square bracket. Now for this term, again union is there, so we have to remove union. So we will remove that. So S tends to A, S, B, S square bracket, where B tends to union symbol. Similarly, I will write it over here. So S tends to S, A, S, B, S, and you will have C, where C tends to closing bracket. Now we will write our production rule. So S tends to X, S, or A, S, B, S, or C, or P, or Q. Then what are the other rules we have? X tends to the symbol, and A tends to the square bracket, and B tends to union symbol, and you have C tends to square bracket. Now still you can see that this term is having more than two non-terminal symbols. So I have to remove this. So we'll remove that one. So if you take S tends to A, B, sorry, it's not A, B, it is A, S. So A, S, B, S, C. So what we will try is, we'll leave the first symbol and we'll try to remove the second symbol. So I will take this one. So this will implies S tends to A, we'll take X is already used. So we'll take A, Y. So we'll take Y, S, C, where Y tends to S, B. Now in this, that is S tends to A, Y, S, C. I can take Y, C again. So we'll replace with another term. So we'll take A, W, C, where W implies Y, S. Still you can see it is having three symbols. So we'll have A, W, C, which will be replaced as, I will replace WC with U. So I will replace AU, where U implies WC. So capital WC. Okay. So now we will update our production rule. So your production rule will be S tends to X, S, or AU, or P, or Q. Then you have X tends to Okay, X tends to symbol, A tends to square bracket, and B tends to union, and C tends to close bracket. Okay, so we have B and C. Okay, square bracket. Now we have to include these terms. Okay, because AU is done. So what is U? U is going to be WC. Then what is W? W is going to be YS. And what is Y is? Y is equal to SB. Now you can see all the right hand side is having only two non-terminals or one terminal symbol. Hence this is in a Chomsky normal form. So let us see a next example. We are going to have, so you have a production rule here. From the production rule, you can see there is no repetition of the start symbol. So there is no need of creating a new start symbol over here. But what is the problem here is, which are the rules that are violating the Chomsky normal form? So you can see AB, it's a violation. Here AAB, because you can see in Chomsky normal form you can have only one single terminal symbol. Here three terminal symbols are together, so that is also a violation. Similarly, you have this one and this one. So four productions are creating violation for the Chomsky normal form. So first we will try to remove the null production. So A implies epsilon is there. So in your production rule, wherever A is appearing, that should be replaced with epsilon for finding it. So let me write the first rule which is having production. So it is going to be AB or AB. Okay, so this A, it can be replaced with epsilon. So if you replace it with epsilon, you will have only B alone. So you will include that production also with S. Similarly, when you see A production, you don't have a non-terminal capital A, but with B, you can see it is having a non-terminal with small bb. Okay, so when you replace capital A with epsilon, you will get only small bb, that is already there in your question, in your production itself. So there will be no change. So your production rule, P will be S tends to AB, AB and B, and your A will be A, B, R. So epsilon is removed, so we are removing it. So finally the production rule is okay, and final one is you will have B tends to BBA or BB. Okay, so that's the rule after removal of epsilon. So the next thing is you have to check for unit production. You have any unit production? Yes, you have a unit production over here. B is there. So we'll remove this. So what is the unit production we have over here is, so you have a unit production that should be removed. So you have to remove this. So what is the unit production you have is S tends to B. Okay, so you have a unit production S tends to B. So wherever you have B, it must be the instead of S into B, you have to B must be replaced. So B tends to BBA or BB. So that should be replaced. Therefore, so S tends to BBA slash BB must be included in your production rule. So the production rule is getting updated. So S tends to AB, A capital B, and instead of B, it should be added. So you will have BBA and small bb. Similarly, the rest of the productions are going to be same. So AAB and B tends to BBA or BB. So there is, you can see there is no terminal that is having more than, so no productions. Right hand side has more than two non-terminals. So we can go for the next step. So here we are going to follow this production rule. So you will see this production rule. So here, before going for removal of a single terminal symbol, we will try to find, we have combinations of terminal symbols, that is A, B, B, B and all is there. So what happens is, so we are going to remove, we are going to bring it in the form. So we will just replace A with the production with the non-terminal, you'll use it as small a, means we can use either x, we can use it as x, so we'll use x, that is x tends to, okay, I'll write it over here, x tends to a and y tends to b. So now what happens is we can replace the production rule. So what happens, my production rule will be replaced as s tends to ab, and instead of small a I will be using x, so you will have xb. Instead of b, small b, I will be using y, so you will have yy capital A, or you can have yy, so you can have yy. Similarly, a can be replaced as xxy, and b can be replaced as y, sorry, it is capital Y and B. No, it is not B, it is A. Okay, it is A and Y. Now, still, which are the terms that are creating violations? So, these you can see there are more than two non-terminal symbols in few of the production. So, let me take a substring of this and we will try to replace. So, we will replace the production having more than two non-terminals, more than two non-terminals. So let us assume we will take this. So what I'm going to do here is I will take one by one. First, let me take YA alone. So I will use a different symbol. I will start using A or B or something like that. Okay, so we'll use A and B are there. So we'll use GH something. So what happens is, uh, if you want, I can write it like this. So YA, which will be converted into, so instead of YA, I will use something YG, and G tends to YA. Okay. Similarly, there is different combination is here. XXY is there, so you will have XXY, which can be converted into AX. So only XY alone will be replaced. So you can have XH, and H tends to XY. Now the production rule will be replaced, so you will replace it. So A tends to AB, or XB, or YG, or YY. Okay, and A tends to, what is the term you used, XH. Okay, and B tends to Y. Okay, for YA I use G, so you can use YG or YY. Then finally you can have G tends to YA and H tends to XY. So now the last final production rule is in a form of context-free grammar. So you can include this. So the given context-free grammar is converted into the Chomsky normal form. Okay, so we'll remove this. So we'll see the last example of a Chomsky normal form, which is of a different type. So let me have one color for this. I'm sorry, taking time. So if you are understanding the rule, you can directly see, you can see it's S tends to ABA, and A tends to capital A and B, and B tends to AC. So you can see there is multiple terminal symbols combination is there, so you have to remove. So we will replace with certain production rules like X tends to A and Y tends to B. Why do I have to need Y? Is there a combination? No. So first we will try to replace with X tends to A. So what happens? Your production rule will change into S tends to ABX, and A tends to, you can also have B as a Y. So you will have B, or capital Y is equal to B. So you will have capital X and Y. Then finally B tends to AC, X tends to A, and capital Y tends to B. Now you can see we have three letter combinations, so that these two productions must be replaced. So we will replace these two things. So S implies ABX with, So what is the term I will replace? So s tends to, we will have one more term. So I will take bx, I will take it as h, and h tends to bx. Similarly, we will try to replace a tends to xxy with a tends to xg. So I will take g as xy and g tends to xy. So your final production rule will be s tends to ah, a tends to xg, b tends to ac, x tends to a, y tends to b, and h tends to bx, and g tends to xy. So all the terms are in Chomsky normal form. So I have given enough examples on different types of problems have been given with all unit production and everything. So that's all about context-free grammar. Thank you. We will meet with a new topic in the next session.